What is up, YouTubers? We're back for Brutal Friday. I think this is the 6th episode I'm bringing you guys, and it's deload week, which means volume down. What else does it mean? Brain dead, apparently. Intensity still high. We're hitting some lighter lifts, and intensity will still be high on the workout today, but instead of doing 2 or 3 sessions, I'm only doing 1 session, and it's pretty quick in and out. So I have a life outside of the gym. I do a deload week every 4th week. So 3 weeks on, 1 week off. So Brutal Friday stays during deload week, keeps the intensity high. Today, me and Mr. J Ray are throwing down. We got rope climbs, deadlifts, and AMRAP cow row. So the rope climbs and the deadlifts are the buy-in. I'm gonna put it here for you guys. The buy-in is 3 rope climbs, 12 deadlifts, 12 deadlifts, 3 rope climbs, AMRAP cow row in a 2-minute window. Then you rest 1 minute, you do it all over again 5 times, and your score is the total calories rowed between the 5 sets. So we'll try and keep it entertaining for you guys. I'm gonna give you some game time commentary again, and we're gonna get right to work. So here we go. So without further ado, we're gonna get to the workout. So remember, this workout has a buy-in each time. So 3, 2, 1, go. So 10 to 12 deadlifts to start each time, 225, 155. Very cyclical weight here. As you can see, I'm kind of being sketch on the hip extension and the shoulders behind the hips. I'm pretty quick with the flash there on the side. It looks good when I filmed it, but it's very quick. Never had a problem with that in competition, but it's something I should be aware of if I have a tough judge, to just stand up a little longer at the top. Anyways, wow, I didn't even get to talk about the rope climbs there. I'm proud of that set. So here we go. First few pulls on the rower, I try and get it up to speed as quick as I possibly can. Being a 2-minute window with a 1-minute rest, you know, you don't have much time, so you're forced to be powerful, which makes this workout hard because power output makes you burn. I like more aerobic workouts. This would be riding that aerobic line. But we're getting better at these. Work a lot on these with my coach. So my goal here, starting the workout, was to be somewhere between 16 and 1800 each set. Be somewhere just around 40 cals each set. So we'll see if I'm able to hold on to that. I think that I really wanted to sustain my breathing at least the first 3 rounds. I wasn't super out of breath starting around 4 or 5. So I'm going with a little more slow stroke rate here. I think if you zoom in on my screen, you can see my stroke rate's around 25 to 26, which means I'm doing 25 to 26 pulls a minute. You'll see shorter athletes have to do a faster stroke rate to keep up with a taller athlete like myself. So being tall helps on the rower, and I would say overall this is a tall man's workout, just being real. I got thrown a bone today by brute strength. So like I said, that 2-minute window comes up very quick. I'm pulling. We're using rollover cows here still, so if you do this workout, you can pull up until that 2-minute mark, then you have to be done pulling. But whatever it rolls over to is what your score is for that round. So I rolled over to 40 cals on this one. So my score was 40 for round 1. If I'm not mistaken, I was able to hold very consistent buy-in splits this whole time, which were right around 32 to 35 seconds for the 12 deadlifts and the 3 rope climbs. That being said, I really tried to maximize that rest period, but also step up to the bar early to feel ready. I didn't want to sit on that bench till like 3, 2, 1, go and then start. I wanted to feel ready and standing over the bar and very mentally prepared to start that next set. So you'll see I stand over that bar for a bit. I'm not just, you know, lollygagging on the bench for that rest. I take my sip, I catch my breath, ready to go again. So here we go again. Deadlift grip, let's talk about that. So first 2 rounds I did right hand over, left hand under. Next 2 rounds I did flip-flop them, so left hand over, right hand under. And then the 5th round I did what was most comfortable. I do that to help with imbalances. I used to never switch my grip, and now that's been helping me just keep my lats balanced and back muscles balanced. I just like it. Switch shoulders on a sandbag clean. Switch the way you grip on a deadlift. You know, don't do more pistols on one side than the other kind of thing. So yeah, rope climbs were fast there again. This is a 15-foot rope to the top of that beam. So I have to touch where those holes are on that beam. I can't just touch that nut. I have to touch where the holes are, and that's 15 feet. You may be like, dang, that looks like a short rope in this video. But remember, guys, I'm 6'3". Rope climbs have to be a good movement for me. I have to make up ground there. So I always try and do those fast. I prefer legless rope climbs more than real rope climbs, because if you saw in that last set, I tend to get a little crazy with my feet sometimes when I get fatigued, when my core's gone or my arms are gone. I'm not as good with my foot placement on the rope, so it's something I actually worked with Mr. Fikowski on when he came over about 2 months ago. We worked a lot on rope climb technique and just being able to not only use your feet well on the way up, but on the way down too, to help you be more efficient. I would say he was the king of rope climbs. There's a king of everything these days. I don't even know what I'm the king of. Maybe king of the rower. Call me king of the echo bike too, because I won the last echo bike workout, that competition. Praise. Anyways, look at my row pace here. I was in the 1500s, a little more than I liked on the set. I think this was my slowest set. And so I realized after I got done with this set that I was being a little mentally weak. Even though, you know, the biceps and the hamstrings are starting to really kick in, I was like, you know, stop, dude. You gotta push a little harder here. So rollover cows, we got to 36. Yep. I might have let it roll over a little longer and got 37, but I stopped the monitor there. 36. So right now we're 40 and 36. Sit down. Let's see how long I sit down for. Just write my score down. Take a look at the clock. Make sure I'm just catching my breath. You know, I'm wearing the Airwave here, so breathing wasn't a problem. You know the vibes. Then once we get up for this third set, this is where I'm really starting to feel the fatigue kick in. I want to make sure my hands are chalked up. The rope was getting a little slippery for me. The deadlifts, hanging on to them were never a problem because I had that minute rest, but the rope was getting a little harder to hang on to set by set. So expect that when you start this workout. Now, that being said, if the rope climbs are the limiter, don't be afraid to break these deadlifts to save that grip a little more. Hanging on to 12 in a row can get grippy, but if you're really confident at rope climbs like me, it's okay to hang on unbroken here. So, trying to feel my hamstrings out a lot here. You know, my biceps too. I'm trying not to bounce the bar or have any early arm bend per se on these. Jump right up to that rope. I guess I could have put my rower a little closer to my deadlift bar to get, you know, on the rower 1 second earlier, but I just wanted to look visually pleasing for you guys. See how I'm tripping on my feet sometimes on that first pull up? My second rope climb there. Could have been more efficient on getting those feet locked in quicker. So it takes me about 3 to 4 seconds to start pulling. As you can see, I'm just trying to get that monitor going as quick as possible because it doesn't get up to my pace for, you know, 8 to 10 seconds, which that's something I could work on, is getting that up to pace quicker. I think the best athletes can get their monitor or their machine up to their desired pace very quickly. And that's sort of a skill, guys, sort of a skill. So this time I didn't want to see as much 1500. Start of the screen. As long as I'm above 16, I'm happy. High 15s, low 16s average on the set. I started realizing, you know, you don't win workouts in the final round like this. These kind of style workouts are won by consistency. They're not won by doing a 30, 30, 30, 50. They're won by doing a 37 through 39 each set. So, you know, you can't dog it those first 4 rounds. You have to be locked in. You know, gotta lock in, guys. Anyway, check the jerseys. Got a jersey wall here. Pretty sick. Shout out. Every Games. And WFP one there. So how big can this wall get? Running out of things to talk about while I'm on the rower. Anyway, stroke rate's higher here. Look at that stroke rate. We're on to 32 to 34 now because my muscles are giving out. My muscle endurance is giving out, so I'm having to make up for it with a faster stroke rate because I'm not as powerful. So roll over here. Let's see what we get. Do we get a 37? Yes, we do. So beat that last round by 1 cal. We're 40, 36, 37. And you'll notice I'm getting a little faster each, like, ending push. So the last 20 seconds on the rower, I'm trying to really pick it up. because I know I have that minute coming up to rest. And honestly, the hardest part about this workout was just starting the row after the rope climbs and the deadlifts, because you are very muscular fatigued. So yeah, step 4 here, chalk up again. Want to make sure we're feeling good. You guys will notice I have those knee sleeves on my knees and my shins. I use those as a rope guard. Some people put them on low shin. I put them on high shin so they don't wreck my shins. And I also just keep them there for my sessions when I'm doing any sort of squatting. So step 4, here we go. I got that same left hand over, right hand under. This would be my less comfortable style doing deadlifts. Also, you'll notice my head isn't like coming up. I'm not like staring up like this, like neck extension. I've never been called on that, so I will continue to do them that way until I'm called on it and I have to change. That was a little blunder there that cost me about 2 seconds. So now I'm really trying to focus, now that my arms are dead, extending that top arm as much as I can. So I'm not taxing the bicep. I'm trying to extend that top arm as much as I can, and that's going to help me hang on longer, put more of the strain on the lat and the forearm rather than the bicep, because my biceps are doing a lot of work on this row here. So back up to pace. How quick can we get back up to 1600? You know, it's been 10 seconds and it took me that to get to 1600. Goal here was to match the last set. I remember going, you have to save something for that final push, but this 4th round out of 5, people can get mentally weak and think, I need to save a lot for that final set. And I thought, you know, why don't you make both this and the final set a hard push, and you're going to be happy with that result. I think the best score for the males on this workout in a game day competition with good setup would be 200 calories. And I was pretty close to that. I think I could do that if the standards were right and the scenario was right. Today I ended right around at 191. Spoiler alert. So if you turn off this video now, that's my fault for telling you the final score. Holding more 1650 on the set. So a little higher average, you can see. I am tugging. We're at that 30 stroke rate. Notice how my arms stay straight at that end. I'm really reaching toward that screen. I'm trying to get every inch of chain back and forth that I can, and I'm pulling to my sternum, which is right below nipple height, right where your rib cage kind of goes down into those, you know, flattering angel ribs. You got that xiphoid process. This is not an anatomy class, James. Move on, dude. So final set coming up. That one we ended at 37 again. Okay, that's good. I hit my goal. Boom. We're happy. At this point, I was like, you know, the workout's basically over. The final set to me is always mentally easiest because I know I get to be done. Even though it's physically sometimes the hardest to execute, mentally it's the easiest for me to execute because I go, oh, wow, the bulk of the work's done. I just got to close it now and not fail a rep. So that's what we tried to do. Anyways, you can tell by how tall I am. These are actually long shorts, guys, and they look short on me. So if you find a long pair of shorts, maybe I need some more 9-inch seams to fit your boy. Hit me up. Hit a boy up. Got those cut marks on the biceps. Shout out Dr. Bo for getting me right. Need a haircut too. This is all over the place. Looks like I have a middle part. Bro needs a cut. Actually proud of how juiced my quads look during this, not gonna lie. Okay, final rope climbs. No blunders here was the goal. Good rope. I wasn't jumping on that second rep because I can pull comfortably to that 15 feet without jumping, which is nice about being tall because that jump does get you a little fatigued and does swing the rope a little bit. So, final push here. How much do I sprint? We'll see. Had to reset my monitor to start. Not ideal. Cost me probably 1-2 seconds of that thing turning on. Let's see how quick I get there. I think on average here, I was above 1700. Let's see how quick I get there. It took me about 15 to 20 seconds to get there. I remember having 20 seconds of like 98%. I couldn't give 100%. My muscles were too taxed. Energy-wise, I was giving 100%, but my body was like not there giving. It wasn't able to give what I thought it might be able to give. Let me put it that way. So we're above 1700. This is the last push, focusing on fast stroke rate and power this time. So I think I was aiming to stay at a 30 stroke rate and really get everything out of my arms and legs here. Really reach and finish the extension. Now, guys, I almost rode for University of Washington crew. This probably isn't the best rowing form on a boat, but for erging in CrossFit, I have pretty good erg times and splits. So I do what's comfortable and what works. Now, sometimes I will actually row more quad dominantly or hinge dominantly depending on the workout. Obviously, we're hinging in this one, so I wanted to load quads a little bit more. So when I look back at this video and review it, I see that I could have pulled my butt closer to my feet and used more quad. Anyway, we ended with 41 cals there. Pretty good finish. So 40, 36, 37, 37, 41. And that is a day of deload. Before this, I did a 1 max power clean, which don't ask me how that went, and I did some light front squats and this workout and some hamstring accessory. Deload's the best. You can see my strong wife lifting in the background. Anyway, workout's done. Hamstrings, biceps, lungs, all the good stuff. I think females are doing less rope climbs than this, if I'm not mistaken. But obviously you probably won't row as fast as a female. So I would say a good female score is probably going to be somewhere north of 120, maybe 130 even for the best females rowers. Maybe even 140, I'm not sure. I know if you do brute strength, you'll get better at these workouts, so this was a really good tester. Anyway, Brutal Friday was lit. Thank you for tuning in. I'm going to go spend the rest of the day not at the gym, doing life stuff because it's all about balance. So thanks for tuning in, y'all. I'll see you next week for Brutal Friday. Leave a comment if you like the video. Thanks for tuning in.
I am James, and I like CrossFit.
Spicy!